Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Colin Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. If you're interested in buying or selling a home in the area, or if you're looking at investing in a rental property, give us a call at 423-930-8003, and we will look forward to helping you. Now, let's get to today's episode. Let's talk about functional coaching and writing books and just doing cool stuff. And so welcome to the podcast, Miss Willow Clerici.
Yes.
How are you today?
I am well, thank you.
I was practicing Clerici. Clerici. That's how I say it, right? So Willow Clerici, where did you grow up?
I grew up in South Jersey.
South Jersey?
Mm-hmm. Morristown, New Jersey.
We have a Morristown just down the street.
You do, but it's not the same.
Not the same? A little bit different? That's why you don't sound like you're from around here.
No.
Okay, so we'll get to how you got here, but what do you love most about Johnson City? It's a question everybody gets, and you can't say mountains or people. I know, right? Because those are the top two answers on the scoreboard. Ding, ding, ding.
Right. So I'll offer the energy.
Ooh, tell us more about energy.
The abundance of just openness, of ease, of playfulness, of curiosity, welcoming, and just fun. Like, it's just fun.
This is a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay. Tell us about how you came to make Johnson City or East Tennessee your home.
Well, it's kind of like the COVID fever dream, if you will. My husband was working from home.
What's his name?
Tom.
Tom.
So Tom was able to work from home remotely. Their business decided to kind of stay that way for a long time. And he was kind of like, hey, we've always talked about moving. Maybe it would be a great time to consider that. And as we'll chat about, my two older boys are special needs.
Okay.
And our youngest was like first grade. And if you knew anything about Zoom education for special needs kids during COVID, it was like herding cats, and it was just non-existent. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
And we were like, we could definitely do something different. And as God would have it, all the kind of stars aligned, and we were like, let's just go to Tennessee and see if we even like it. So we came to Bristol for a weekend and toured the Tri-Cities area, and we were like, oh yeah, this is it. And put a bid in on a house, like within a week, and all the boop, 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 everything came into place. And by July of 2021, we were moved.
Look at that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think I'm a little I love our area for sure, but I keep getting blown away by people who are just like, we came in for a weekend and we fell in love. So like, walk our listeners through who may not live here. Like, you guys came in for a weekend. What did you see and what did you do that made you go, this is the place for us?
It was honestly, the southern space of everyone was so welcoming. If I'm honest, Colin, the homeless people were welcoming. They were like, hey, you have a great day. They were so sweet.
Oh my gosh, they are sweet.
It was just, everybody was pleasant. Hello, looked you in the eye. And the communities just seemed so lovely. Touring in downtown Bristol was beautiful. Coming to Johnson City, the same thing, like just these really sweet towns and communities. It seemed like people really cared about their businesses, and that most businesses were, mom and pop shops, small business owned. And we came to Kingsport, and the same thing was there too. And we wanted people with similar values to us. We wanted more outdoors opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted mountains. We wanted lakes.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that Northeast Tennessee provides. And it was like, this is waiting for you. Just come.
Come on.
And that was it. We were like, okay.
How long had you been where you were?
My whole life.
Hard to leave?
It was difficult to leave our family because
Sure.
all our family was still there. I was my mom's caretaker at the time, so leaving her was really hard, and my parents were older. So in the midst of that, and all of our help, we knew no one.
Right.
We had no family, no friends
And with
here.
special needs kids, you had a like
We
a
had a
tribe that
big,
was
deep
helping you.
system.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a big, deep system of support, and we took that leap of faith, and we're like, we're going to find that support here. We just know it. We're not really there's nothing telling us it's here for us other than we just know.
Right.
And it has been gangbusters.
Yeah.
The tribe, as we're in Kingsport, so we're at DB, so Roll Tribe, right? The tribe at DB has just been um, amazing,
Oh,
to say the least.
yeah. We just had I've got another friend and his family moved here from Florida and their oldest son has special needs. And they got plugged in at or Science Hill and same kind of thing. They're just like, it's going to be really good. Now they're just still waiting on transfer paperwork and all that because they literally just got here a
Oh,
few days ago. But I'll have to connect you maybe,
yeah.
like, because they're wonderful people.
That'd be great.
So you wear a lot of hats. You're an author, a coach, an advocate, a mentor. Which one feels most true to you today?
Ugh, um, probably an advocate.
Okay. Tell our
As
listeners more about that.
So, with the special needs space, I have learned very early on with the educational experience that I had to be my children's advocate, that they certainly were not going to speak up for themselves.
Right.
And I needed to speak for them and hold true to what I felt they could accomplish and what they needed,
Hmm.
not what necessarily what they didn't need and what the districts needed to provide. So, and not only with the school district, but with healthcare, with their well being and asking and pushing and not accepting just status quo
Right.
for them, but looking at other avenues of support, um, of guidance to help them to be the most successful, strong young men they could be.
That's awesome. How old are they now?
Uh, Zeke will my oldest, his name is Ezekiel. We call him Zeke. He is 21. He will graduate the school district this year, which is heartbreaking because we love our district and also wonderful that, he's moving on.
Right.
And then Eli is 19 and he works at Food City and on Eastman Road. So shout out to Food City.
Nice. Yeah.
And then we have Joseph, who is 12, and he is neurotypical, and he's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. So you're outnumbered big time.
I
All
am,
boys at your
I am,
house.
yeah, I'm in the boys' playground.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So you've been guiding others for about 20 years and now you started up as a coach. And so what led you down that path to become a coach?
Yeah. So it was again advocating for my boys and myself. As my boys were getting into their teenage years, they struggled with anxiety and ADHD
Yeah.
amidst their autism and Fragile X syndrome. And doctors were, encouraging medications and all those types of avenues, which are and can be very helpful and were for some time for them. And I knew that they were hitting crucial growth spurts in their lives. And I was like, I don't want them on these medications during this time of massive growth. So I ventured into holistic medicine, more like food,
Yeah.
how food is healing, whole food supplements, things of that nature, and worked with naturopaths and chiropractors and physical therapists and all kinds of people. And through that, since then, they have not been on any medications since like 12 years old. And they are 6 foot tall, 150,
Strong, vibrant. Yeah.
160 strong boys today.
What would you encourage other listeners that have kids that are special needs potentially to to look at that. I think a lot of it is, it's easy for the doctor to prescribe a drug, and that may help with some symptoms. There's going to be side effects, I'm assuming. If and then so yeah, let the food be thy healer, right? And or thy medicine, and let thy medicine be thy food. That little quote, I forget where that came
Yeah.
from, but it's so true. And I think we in America we don't think of that as much as maybe in some of the other cultures.
Yeah. For I would always encourage looking at all avenues. I try to see my kids as whole people, and that's just it's mind, body, spirit. And
Mhm.
it's not only the food that they're taking, but it's also physically what are they doing. We had my middle son in jujitsu for years because that deep pressure, that combat sport, his ADHD, it was massively impactful to him in order for self regulation. My oldest was on track, does bowling, in the Sparkle Squad, but like physical movement and all those things are all really important in the midst of how are you nourishing yourself? What
Right,
are the things you're putting in your body?
right.
And what are you exposing yourself to in general?
Like
All those things
environmental
environmentally.
chemicals, plastics,
Hmm.
all that fun stuff.
Yep.
Um, I've been reading a lot and hearing a lot about the, brain gut connection too, especially for kids with autism. The research coming out is just amazing, like different bacterias that are lacking in their gut and how that triggers some of these autistic um, scenarios for them. And you're just like, wow. So if you could reintroduce that, and they're having kids who haven't talked for years, just like start talking, and like it's crazy. I mean, have you had
Yeah.
any
I haven't had any
experience with
like
that or?
massive experience in that. And what I can say is like the lower sugars, the lower food dyes,
Mhm.
preservatives, higher protein,
Yeah,
um, really more whole food diets have given access to um, more calm and
yeah,
less behavior
yeah.
that they've experienced for sure.
It's like they're just hypersensitive to all
Yeah,
the
and it's
stuff
like,
that we
gluten free, dairy free. Like there were times we tried all the things, just hoping like
we were
one
free
thing
of
would
everything.
shake something out or something
Yeah,
else would happen. And I think any family, those things are um, can be hard to do, right? To integrate those types of diet changes for
sure.
anybody,
Oh my gosh.
but little by little, sometimes can actually have a really big impact.
Yeah, I think it's got to be hard to
Yeah.
try and figure out what the right thing is to do, and
Mhm.
so having a coach, I think, is pretty cool. Um, Talk to us about special forces. I think from what I've gathered, it's a deeply personal story. What caused you to want to write this book?
Um, so honestly, Special Forces was written out of obedience. In my prayer life, in my faith, God was like, uh, the other parents, other people need to know they are not alone
Mm,
in this world, that the things that they are going through are valid and that I am walking them through this, even though they may not realize it. And it's somewhat of a memoir of the last 20 years of raising my boys and what I've been through, not only in raising them, but also my own life and my own personal experiences and traumas and tragedies and losses and joys and celebrations. Because, you know, God is a thread through all of it. And that the book is really about hope and about inspiring people to keep on keeping on and to, know that they're not alone and know that there are other people out there to support and love on them.
yeah, yeah. I know it's got to be difficult. One of my dear friends and neighbor, they have 4 children that are autistic, and it's tough. Your heart goes out to them for sure because their life is different, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just on call 24/7,
Yeah.
and just
We got a phone call this morning.
yeah, yeah.
So
So through that, what's been one of the most difficult seasons that you've made it through, and maybe emotionally or physically, and how did you do that for maybe a listener who's maybe on, they're like, oh, I'm having a hard time right now.
Mm, gosh, I'm like, which do I pull from? There are many, and I can say that with a smile on my face because I am on the other side of
Right.
most of them, and not that I won't have those moments again. Um, probably the most recent, in 2023, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I am a strong, healthy athlete. Um, I take very good care of myself. Again, that whole person, whole mind, body, spirit space. And I was thrown for a big loop. And the reason that we found it, my mom had passed the year before,
Okay.
and I was due for my mammogram, and it was the anniversary of her passing.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'm not going to go get the mammogram done. I'll put it off. It's fine. There's no big deal. Nothing's wrong because I've been the year before. Everything's fine. And I could hear my I could hear my mom. She was a registered nurse, so shout out to mom.
Yeah.
Um, Go get it, Willow. Just get it done. It'll just be done. So I went and got a phone call back the next day, which is not unusual. I've had that before, and went in, got the diagnostic mammogram and an ultrasound, and the tech said, "Well, sit tight. The radiologist is going to come back in and talk to you." It's like, "Oh yeah, here we go." "Oh, we're just watching this and that."
Everything looks good.
And she's like, "Well, there's this thing called DCIS, and it's called ductal carcinoma in situ." And she's like, "It's breast cancer in the milk ducts." And she's like, "We're concerned that you might have this, and we need to do a biopsy." And I was like, "Huh?"
What'd you just say? Yeah, you're
Like,
like,
come
"Wanna"
again?"
yeah. I thought I was just getting my
I was
routine
like,
checkup. That's
yeah,
right.
like, in my head, like, you kinda create these stories of, like, the doctor's gonna pull you aside, and there's gonna be this, like, dramatic conversation, and it was just she and I in the room, and I'm like, "Okay." Uh, she's like, "So this is what it's gonna be like," and tells me about the biopsy, and I was like, "Oh my god, like, this is for real." And I, like, got in my car and, like, had the sobbing moment, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm scared. Like, what is this? What the heck?" And, went home and my husband was like, "What's wrong?" And told him, and we talked and we prayed and all the things, and he was like, "We're gonna see what this is. You're gonna be fine. We're gonna get through this," and all the things. And, um, I feel like there was never a moment I questioned that I was okay
Mm,
because of the resiliency of what I've been through in my life. Um, but there's always a question of like, "Well, what's it gonna be like?" Well, I'm going through it. And how bad is this gonna be?
yeah. It's gotta be
Um,
scary.
so yeah, so, as the story goes, got the biopsy, and it was in fact this DCIS, and the tumor was basically the whole size of the breast. So they were like, "You need a mastectomy, at least of the one side. It's not something we can just take out." So it was the whole like, "Oh my gosh, okay, now this is like a really big surgery and a really big choice." So, I had wonderful doctors. Because I'm from the Northeast, it's a mecca of health up there. So I went back home, talked to some of the big cancer doctors, got evaluated. Everybody said the same thing. And then I came down here and talked to my doctors at ETSU here and at Ballot Health. And I was like, I'm going to get my surgery here. Like, I trust these doctors and I want to be home for this. Like, I heal at home. That's where
Yeah,
I want to stay.
yeah.
So, yeah, had phenomenal care, and came through it all. Luckily, praise the Lord, there was no invasive cancer. So I didn't have to go through chemo.
Didn't go to lymph
I
nodes and
chose
any of
to
that
have a
stuff. Yeah.
double mastectomy, so I didn't have to be on any additional um,
Preventative drugs.
preventative drugs,
Yeah.
right? Estrogen blockers or anything like that. And they were like, "We'll see you," in couple, and so now I just go for yearly checkups. Everything's been great. And everything has been really good since then. And I was like, I kind of feel like I got away with something a little
Yeah.
bit in that space, but I do feel like my faith and the hope that I had was what really set me up for success in that moment. Don't get me wrong, there were some really ugly cry
I'm sure.
moments in
Yeah.
there.
Well, and the saying is God is good all the time, right? And
He is.
but in some of those moments, I'm sure you were like,
Yeah. You
I
could
don't
take
you
this
don't
cup.
feel like a good right.
You could take
Yes, yes, yes. maybe somebody listening is dealing with that, and what would you tell where were I mean, I think I know where you went with it, but what would you tell them to do? "Hey, I just found out I had breast cancer,
Yeah.
and I was just with a guy this morning, and he said his wife just found out a
Yeah.
few weeks ago," and I was like so I just prayed with him, but
Yeah. Well, yeah, for certainly prayer is a kind of my immediate response, but it's education.
yeah.
I immediately went into research mode. I immediately took all of the functional medicine background that I have, all the holistic medicine background that I have, and began to research like, what was this? What was that? What are the long term effects of this? And really educated myself so that I could make a choice from a place of knowledge and calm
Mhm.
rather than fear
Right.
and reaction.
Sure. Um, how did you get into functional medicine? Like, where did that journey start?
Um, it began with the naturopathic route that I was starting with my children
Okay.
in terms of not being on a
Gotcha.
medications.
Okay.
I had struggled for years through college, early adult life with anxiety and depression. And as I was having kids, I was like, I don't want to be on medications and any of this stuff while I'm having children. And did my best not to be. And then after my first two were born, and the special needs and all the things that we went through, found myself back on medications. And there finally came to a point, and it was similar in nature, like that apex of where the boys were and where I was. And it was like, something's got to give. There's got to be another way to do all this. And that's when the whole functional medicine piece came in. It was how I was nourishing myself, the exercise I was getting, the sleep, the water. Um, the supplements, like the vitamins and minerals that I needed that I was lacking. All of the same things I was doing for my boys, I was doing for myself.
Mhm.
And my health began to shift. I haven't been on meds for 10 years, probably in that nature, just because, I've found other ways. I started um, other meditative routines. I started practicing and became a certified yoga teacher and mindfulness teacher. I started teaching mindfulness in schools to kids during COVID, right? Like all these things because behavior change is how you begin to change yourself. And as I changed my behaviors, right? Eating, sleeping, how I nourished myself, how I exercised, I began to thrive and my children began to thrive. And like a whole thing, I was like, well, everybody could do this. And it's work. You've got to do the work.
It's not
You got to
easy,
you got to
right?
do the
And
work. No one's
right,
going to do it for you.
right. I think I just believe that there's a lot of people out there that are, instead of doing the work, and I think a lot of, unfortunately, you talk to a lot of physicians and they're like, well, we tell them to do lifestyle changes, and unfortunately don't. So we give them the whatever.
Yeah.
And, and as of now, the GLP-1s are really a big thing, right? Because people want to eat whatever they want
Yeah.
and then still lose weight, right? And so however, I think research is going to show that as soon as they shut those off, because you can't take those things forever, I would hope. And then if you don't change you're just going to be right back where you started, right? So you have to change your behavior, like
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah. And that world of the GLP-1s and all of that is really meant. Yeah, I do believe that there can be support in an acute phase, right? To help you kind of get kickstarted,
Yeah.
to help you change. But yes, that the minute you stop anything like that, if you don't have the systems in place to keep your success going, you're going to fail. If you're going to take them and you're going to continue to have poor diets, poor sleep, poor lifestyle, it it's not going to fix you.
Right. What was the first thing you started with? Was it food or was it exercise or
Um,
and what would you tell somebody listening like because
yeah.
there are a lot of people that are anxious, worried, stressed, whether you use that stressed out word all the time. And I think you need to really dig in and define more about, what is stressing you out? Like, do we just use this blanket? I'm just stressed, and just go on. And
Yeah.
I think, digging down, well, actually, I'm afraid of X, or I'm worried about this, or, I think there's a lot of, and then so people want to mask that with medicine and, or alcohol, or, other things. Right. And so, yeah, what would you tell someone listening about anxiety, and, um, where to go with that?
Yeah.
Health in a healthy.
Healthy, yeah, in a health process. For that way, so many so much of anxiety, you live outside of yourself.
Mhm.
You're not centered. You're not grounded. Everything is out here, and in all honesty, a lot of people are afraid to come back inside. And I was too. When I lived in this anxious world, it perpetuates itself. You get anxious and then you're afraid that you're anxious and then the anxiety gets more and now you're having a panic attack and you're just like you've now
Off the
spiraled
rails,
down.
right.
So you've got to break the cycle.
Okay.
And to break the cycle, it is about learning your triggers. It's about self-awareness. It's about knowing your body and knowing like when or what could trigger you. Like, I know that if I stay up tonight too late binge watching my show, I may be a little more anxious tomorrow because I haven't gotten enough sleep. So maybe you shift that bedtime so that you set yourself up for success the next day.
Yeah.
And it can be really small things like that. It can be starting to walk or exercise. It can be learning, stepping into an app like Headspace or Calm or Insight
Mhm.
Timer and learning how to meditate, learning about mindfulness. It's really about the thoughts and beginning self awareness of the mind and what you're thinking.
Mhm.
And as those thoughts are coming, stopping the story that you're telling yourself
Mm.
and then rewriting that story.
Yeah. That's cool. I think, as I've aged, I've realized that I am in control of my thoughts and my body, right? I mean, on some level, my little brain's running it all. I feel like 90% of it's, running on autopilot, but I can do certain things and choose to make good choices. And, um, if you said food, sleep, exercise, which one would you say is most important?
Sleep,
Yeah. And
100% sleep.
and you're gonna say 8 hours. I think it varies for different
It
people.
does. It does. Like my husband, God bless him, he can get like, he put a Fitbit on, he gets like 3, 4 hours of deep sleep a night. I was like, what? But he doesn't sleep but like 6 hours.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's why.
Yeah.
'Cause you can do that, whereas, like, I need, like, 8. He's like, you should sleep for 12." Because that's just how my body like, I don't get as much deep sleep, I need a longer period of time to be in rest, but some people don't, and so if you're interested in that, using a wearable, like a watch or a ring or something that could track some of that for you to get a baseline
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, okay, now I can see this," and adjust, and then see how adjusting that helps.
Right. Yeah. A lot of my friends have the Whoop bands, and they can see how the recovery was over the night or whatever, and, and then they're like, "Well, no wonder I feel crappy today. I had like a 30% recovery rate. I
Right.
slept terribly." And then, for whatever reason, maybe it was something they did the night before, stood up too late, drank too much, whatever it
Yeah.
might be.
So
Um,
many things.
so many things, so many things. Um, what's one of the biggest contributors in your mind, to burnout and poor health for people? Um,
Um,
what do you think drives them to that kind of situation
so
as a functional medicine health coach?
how do I say it? Priorities.
Okay.
It is how you're prioritizing your time
Okay.
is
Tell me
what
more about
creates
that. Tell us more
stress.
about that.
So if you look at your schedule, right? If you look at your calendar, I'll tell you who you are. And if you're not blocking time for rest, for play, for your family, for things that are important to you, for exercise, for creating nourishing meals or what have you, you're, you- you're not going to have it.
Yeah.
So starting even in small ways, blocking little bits of time for yourself can begin to shift all of that. What is most important to you? What is your priority?
Right.
and then go from it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people we just get in the in the flow. We've got a lot to do, and we just say, okay, we're going to knock it all out. And we look back and we're like, well, we didn't do anything that was important to us, our own selves, but we did get a lot of stuff done. And at the end of the day, does it make us a better person? Probably not. So I think priorities is a good word. And
Just
calendaring, right?
well, just because you can do it all doesn't mean you should. Right? Like I can accomplish a lot of things,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean I should accomplish all those things
Yeah.
because other things matter too.
It's true. I think some level I get probably a little significance out of getting a lot done
Yeah.
or having a lot going on.
But
But
that's
is it
also
good
part
for
of
me?
it.
Right, right, yeah. Is it
Like,
good for
oh,
me at
I'm
the end
too
of the
busy
day?
to really think. I'm too busy to really spend that time.
Yeah. Mindfulness is really yeah, I do find time to just sit and think. And a lot of times I'm just driving around. I drive around a lot with my job and I just turn the car, radio off or the podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Like this great one we're
Right.
on now. And yeah, I think just having time to just ask the Lord to direct my thoughts and where should I go and what should we do and who should we help
Yeah.
and the Holy Spirit is amazing how just bringing people to mind that like you're just like I haven't thought of that dude in like 20 years and there's
Mhm.
Joe and I'm like, oh, I need to check in with Joe, and I call Joe and Joe's like, I was thinking about you the other day, and it's like,
Right.
okay, that's cool, thanks Lord,
Mhm.
so I think it's really good. But you do have to block some time in for that for sure. um
Stillness is important.
Yeah, and maybe talk a little bit about meditation and how you've grown through that some,
Mhm.
because I think a lot of people, it's still a little new agey maybe.
Well, and meditation isn't like I appreciate that. It's not new agey. Like being sitting in quiet or sitting with like some quiet music next to you
Mm,
is not new age. It's just allowing your brain and your body time to decompress. And that's really what shifted me. I have been through most of my life been in therapy or counseling because I find so much benefit from talking to somebody through and processing what's going on.
mhm,
And the best gift that my counselor gave me at first, when I was really struggling, really burnout, was getting into like a mindfulness based stress reduction program. And you can find them all over, but it really was about like sitting in quiet for 2 or 3 minutes, sitting, here for 2 or 3 minutes. And like I mentioned, the Headspace app is amazing. I get nothing from Headspace other than it's great because they give you little cartoons and it
uh-huh,
makes so much sense of
okay,
why our thoughts are our thoughts, but why it's important to allow some stillness so that the thoughts can just go by and you can realize like, oh, these are just thoughts. Like
right.
I'm not controlled by all these thoughts. They're just thoughts. And
There's just
we have
yeah,
like 73,000 thoughts a day. I don't know who calculated that, first of
right.
all,
Who counted them all? That's a fast
but
counter.
I'm like, that's a lot of
That
thoughts
is
to go through
unbelievable.
our head. And how inundated are we if we don't take perspective and realize like, oh, we are not our thoughts
No.
and I can control what I focus on. And that mindset, understanding, and consistency, because it is a practice. So many people are like, how do I reduce the stress? I'm like, it's your lifestyle. You
Mhm.
have to begin a practice of these things in order to be good at these things, just like a sport, just like any skill. You have to practice it. And even if you practice 2, 3, 5 minutes a day, that can vastly impact you the rest of your day. Because whenever you get those stressful moments, you have this practice to fall back on. And you're like, oh, all right, I could breathe in
Mhm.
and then exhale slowly.
Mhm.
And oh my God, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Right. And rather than like this hyperventilation that we're doing all the time.
And I can choose to not let that affect me, like, just because that person said that doesn't that's their thought. That
Right.
was their end thing, and you just let it blow on by, right? And like, "Oh, not a big deal."
Yeah.
sorry you feel that way,
Right.
or, maybe I can help work through that situation with you, but I don't have to internalize it and let it be my story. Yeah, and I think a lot of people get, like you said, triggered, and they go, "Okay, we're gonna spin down this cycle with you, and we're gonna go
Mhm.
to a bad place," whether it's an argument or whatever. Yeah.
But what you just said is huge in that I choose,
Mhm.
right? That's a boundary.
Yeah.
The boundaries are massive when you're beginning to take back your life, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, no, I don't choose to take that on. That is not about me.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
you. Thanks. And right, I'm here if you need me to support you, but that's not my emotional baggage and I don't want it.
Yeah.
And
And
you can have it.
yeah, and your own agency, right? And you say, you can say words that would hurt if I allowed that, and of course you can, and unfortunately there's a lot of hurt people out there, and hurt people, as I always say. So every time somebody I see is hurt or angry or whatever, I just go, what, I wonder who hurt them, is kind of where I go with that. And that gives you empathy, and you hear, then you want to learn their story, and you're like, if I get to know you in a deep way, and hopefully I can love you through it, or in this 1 2 second whatever,
Yeah.
interaction that, or hopefully it's a few minutes, and maybe get to pray with them or something,
Yeah.
and just say, I get it. It's tough. Life's tough, and we've had some hard things to deal with. So, um,
That's that gift of curiosity
yeah,
there.
I think it is. It is
Yeah.
good. So you're involved a lot with the community and, doing community events and that kind of thing. Tell our listeners, what are you doing to help our community?
Yeah. So currently I am looking to create a chapter for the Travis Manion Foundation here in the Tri-Cities. So Travis Manion was it was in the Navy. He died in April of 2007, and his family created a foundation for him to honor um, families of the fallen and veterans in general. And they have grown to a nationwide, massive foundation who have supported hundreds of thousands of veterans and families of the fallen in creating connection within their communities and bringing them back to a space of thriving.
Mm,
And that's again not only for the families of the fallen, but also for veterans who may be separating from service or have been separated for a very long time and have no purpose or meaning in their life. And how we do it is we become mentors called Character Does Matter mentors,
mm,
and we teach character strengths and values to kids. And we go into classrooms. I go into my kids' classrooms at DB and have for the last couple years. And we talk a couple times a month about character strengths and about how they can be people of character.
mhm,
And it is awesome to watch these students become more people of character than they already are,
mhm,
and how they impact their community at the school. And I just love seeing them. Like it impacts me. And um, it's such an amazing opportunity to give back to the community and to create connection and foster strong values in our youth. So that is the movement in general, but there's also, they do a 9/11 Heroes Run that we do yearly. There's a workout of the day that happens around CrossFit gyms and things in April on near Travis's birthday to honor his birthday. We do Operation Legacy projects. So with St. Dominic's Catholic School in Kingsport, we just did at Halloween, gathered um, trick or treating for the troops. And I sent out 10 large boxes overseas, and literally just got a letter back from one of the sailors, Marines, saying, "Thank you. Oh my gosh, you've no idea what that meant to us," because they're on a ship. They're not getting any kind of candy or
right,
anything
there's
like
a
that.
Snickers
So,
bar, and
right. It
yeah,
was just so it's so great to see the connection and how it impacts in a ripple effect in the community, and how um, just giving back just continues to fuel my my hope and my inspiration in youth, as well as my desire to continue to serve my community
Yeah.
and want that for everyone.
Yeah, and I heard a statistic too. Is it 2 veterans a day across the country are taking their lives because they just don't feel something awful, and I was
It,
like,
I think, is more than that,
"Is it more?"
sadly. Yes.
Because they just don't feel, like, connected and plugged in and important and purposeful anymore, and so I think, yeah, however we can help them overcome that. So sad. It really is. Yeah, so, um, the book Special Forces, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, you've got a lot in there, and how long did it take you to write? When did you write it? What's
Um,
what what's most
it
special about it?
probably it probably took me about a year to write it. Um, because I wasn't inventing something that wasn't my life. It didn't take a super long time. It was just me dedicating time to write it and then edit it. Um, and it was a very cathartic process. Um, it was such a beautiful space to see where I've come from and how far I've come in 20 years. Like if you were to tell me 20 years ago when my son was diagnosed with Fragile X syndrome, who he would be now and who I would be now, I'd probably laugh in your face and be like, "You have no idea what you're talking about."
Yeah,
Because um, I was terrified, and I was struggling myself with burnout, trying to be all the things, and um, didn't know what to do. Because I was like, "What is this diagnosis? What does this mean for my son?" And it was like, "Well, there's nothing. He's going to be cognitively impaired, and we don't know if he's gonna be able to really read or write or do any of these things, and he cannot read or write, my oldest. But when I tell you he is the mayor of Kingsport, like, it's hysterical. We cannot go somewhere in town without someone not knowing Zeke.
that's
Like,
awesome.
he is like the mascot of joy at the
Oh,
high school. It is amazing to see who he is and who he's become. He's it's just a trip. And I'm so grateful for the community because even the students out, in public, "Zeke, what's up?" High five, fist bump, all the things like, and they recognize him by name.
mhm,
They acknowledge him. They know that, they make him matter,
mhm.
and he feels that, and it just fuels his fire to create more excitement wherever he is. But um in the space of writing this book, it's just the journey that we've had, and it's the ups and downs and the triumph on the other side. And watching my children, not that they don't, I mean, literally this morning we had to go to school because Zeke was being restrained because he had a behavioral meltdown, and he's 21. So it doesn't end for us,
Yeah,
but it looks different. And it's still hard, at times because it's heartbreaking to witness your child struggle in that way. But at the same time, we've raised our children, um, with actions and consequences, right? And he's very polite. He's very respectful. Like afterwards, he apologized to everybody, tried to fist bump everybody, was like, "I'm sorry," all the things.
right, like, I just
And we're like, "Okay, Zeke," and there's sides of, right, understanding where he is mentally and
mhm,
emotionally, but it's, watching the journey even through them, and that's part of the book is sharing their journey too, and their experience, through it all, but yeah, it brought back a lot of, heartbreak and joys and laughter and tears, but reminded me so much of the thread of faith and hope, um, perseverance and obedience through it all, um, and the gift of all those things,
yeah,
on the other side.
yeah. I know you said it was very cathartic writing it for yourself. Who do you feel like would benefit reading it?
Um, Truly anyone. I have had the billionaire read it and speak volumes of it to me. I've had, an everyday mom, of special needs kids say, "Oh my God, I I totally saw myself in all these pages and I hope that I can, see myself in more of them as
Mhm.
my kids get older." I've had friends just say like, "Thank you for sharing the hope and inspiration." Like I feel like there is hope now, or, spaces of I share, my brother, was a firefighter, and died by suicide in 2017, my brother Albie.
Yeah.
And, I've had people read that part and talk about, nobody talks about suicide. Nobody talks about mental health and well-being and what the effect it had on our family and how, the whole Travis Manion portion of my life I do to honor him, to honor the legacy of community that he led and um and time with young people and supporting young people and um there's so many people could benefit from it. Just knowing that through so many seasons through loss, my I lost my mom. We did move her down here about 6 months after we moved here, and then about 6 months later, she passed. And but the gift was that I got to be with her,
Yeah.
through that whole season, and that was such a gift to me. As difficult as it was, she had dementia, and it's a very long goodbye when dementia is in the mix of it, but, there's so many pieces. Not The book isn't just about special education or how to work through special education because that is part of it, and, um, it's just about living, and not letting these things define you,
Yeah.
but allow them to be stepping stones in the trajectory of your life and the arc of where you're going.
That's cool. Yeah. Um, I look forward to reading it. Talk to us a little bit about, do you offer service? Can you, like, are you you coach people?
Mhm.
And so how, talk to us about your services. If somebody want, I mean, like, they've heard your story today. They're like, "Hey, this lady sounds like somebody I'd like to connect with, work with." What does that look like?
Absolutely. You could email me. You could message me through Instagram or Facebook. I do private coaching um, sessions, and yeah, I mean it's pretty much as easy as that. Um,
Who's a client? What do you look like? What would somebody be? What would be somebody that'd be like a perfect candidate to be coached by you?
Honestly, um, anyone. In honesty, I actually coach teenagers and I coach, 70-year-old people.
No, that's fine.
It runs the gamut, but I mean, in general, yeah, I have a heart for women and young women, um, especially, women who are trying to find their identity
Mhm.
and trying to, you know, there's got to be a better way,
And
than
earlier
this.
mentioned menopause and hormone
Yeah.
replacement therapy,
Oh
and
yeah, that whole season of life. Yeah, that piece for the health coaching piece for sure. I'm here to support and navigate through as I'm a sister in that season and there's so many research studies and avenues to explore in health in for women in this season of life. There's really no one way, and it's not one size fits all. Just like any healthcare is really not some one size fits all, even though they
right.
try to make it that way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, people looking to create change, to hit that next level, to unlock something that's been kind of hidden for a while,
Okay.
you know. All those parents of special needs kids, parents of disabilities, you know, all that.
Anyone who needs some
Anyone
help,
who
some love,
Yeah,
and some
some love and
guidance, and
support, yeah.
yeah. And so they can find you on Instagram at
At Willow Page.
okay, and then on Facebook too.
Facebook is Willow Clerici, yeah.
Willow Clerici. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Um, what's something I didn't ask you that you wish we had hit? Anything?
Mm. Oh, we co-own a jujitsu school in Kingsport.
Well, I could see how you could forget to mention that. I mean, that's cool.
We do. So Duncan Mixed Martial Arts is our jujitsu school. Our partner Brian Duncan and Kaylee Duncan are awesome. And we've been in business for almost 2 years. I
Okay.
don't know, something of that nature. And it is a great family place. I started training at 47. So ladies, anybody who, is up for a new challenge, we have a great group of women to train with, and you're never too young to learn how to protect yourself. Um, and that's why I did it too, and to protect my children, and to support them physically if I needed to, so that I was capable to do that. So yeah,
Yeah, I think
it's pretty cool.
I've had that in the back of my mind for a while too, just because I'd hate to be in a situation where I can't protect my family, and that'd be bad. So yeah,
Yeah.
and I listen to oddly a lot of the guys I listen to are all jujitsu guys for some weird reason. I'm just like, okay,
Come
Lord, you telling
train.
me I need to go train? Right.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. You ready for some rapid fire questions?
Sure.
One word people often use to describe you. And is it accurate?
Mm. Um, Welcoming. Yes.
Okay. Daily practice that keeps you grounded.
Um, Prayer and meditation.
Yeah. Something that brings you joy on hard days.
My children.
Oh, yeah. What you wish someone had told you 10 years ago.
It's okay to fail.
Small act of kindness that had a big impact on you.
Um, oh, just today, a friend messaged me before I came here, and she's like, "I made a special trip and said some prayers for you."
Mhm.
And I was just like, that made all the difference.
What would it be like if we just followed the Spirit every day and just ask Him, who can I pray for? And then call Him and do it? What would you know what I mean? Like, I think it would be just
Oh,
such a
change.
beautiful, it would change. I try and pray with somebody every day, and it's just so fun. And so, yeah, that'd be mine for me. Okay. Well, I have really, really enjoyed getting to know you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your book and your life to the world and your story with the kids and Tom. And so I'll be praying for your little family and see where you guys go. And thank you for making our area a little bit better, right? And in many different ways. And so hopefully some listeners today will connect with you for coaching and learn how to be better. It sounds like you're a kind of a hybrid too. Like you're not like totally holistic, food based. I think there are a lot of people that just it's one way or another. And honestly, in my heart, I've been like, there's so much like pharmaceutical stuff out there, and you're being marketed to so much that it's just a big machine. And I'm like, I I think I kind of go, I would run from that as much as I can. But on the other side of it, there's a lot of good,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of stuff that a lot of these compounds can do, that help. And so I think it sounds like to me you're kind of a hybrid mix of both.
Absolutely.
If you can heal yourself completely and get off medicine, that's a better way to be. But in the interim, you may need some help here and there with
Yeah,
some pharmaceutical
absolutely.
intervention, maybe a little bit. So yeah, so I think if you're looking to change your life and get healthier and get stronger, I would definitely connect with Miss Willow. I think it would only be a benefit to your life. And so thanks for coming on the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. As always, I'm here if you want to buy a house, sell a house, invest in real estate, if you need property management help. We would love to connect you with Willow, connect you with all the people that have been on our amazing podcast. We just have amazing guests, and that's what makes it amazing. And so thank you for listening. Share it with somebody and just take a minute to ask the Lord who is popping up in your mind right now, and then call that person and pray for them. And I hope you do, and I hope you have a great day for doing it.